Well, I mean, one of the interesting things about this book is how initially, remember, he says that these people are going unnoticed. That's significant because it's saying that you have Christians who are not seeing it. That they have the Holy Spirit, you know, they got the word, they got friends that they could talk about, but they're seeing everything but this. And so I think what Jude wants to do is actually give them eyes to see. And the way he does it is that he takes them through the Old Testament. That's one of my favorite parts about Jude, is that to read Jude, you actually have to go back to the Old Testament.
Yeah.
You won't understand what he's talking about if you don't. He references people like Cain, Korah, Egypt, Balaam. He talks about Michael the archangel and the devil fighting over the body of Moses, which don't make no sense. It's weird. Why are they fighting over bodies? I don't understand that, which could be a deterrent to studying this book. But one of the things that I wanted to press people into when it came to this study is just because Bible study is difficult doesn't make it impossible. There is some beauty that you can pull out of a text when you sit in it. One of the things he says is that though you already know this, I want to remind you that the Lord at one time delivered his people out of Egypt, but later destroyed those who did not believe, and the angels who did not keep their positions of authority, but abandoned their proper dwelling. These he has kept in the darkness, bound with everlasting chains. In a similar way, Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding towns gave themselves up to sexual immorality and perversion. They serve as an example of those who suffer the punishment of eternal fire. That's harsh. Mm-hmm. But what he's trying to say is God has given us examples after example after example that ungodliness will not go unnoticed. You might not notice it, but God does. Mm-hmm. And so what that does, I think it should give you an urgency and a compassion. Urgency because it says, the people in my world, in my context that are teaching and believing and living things that are anti-gospel, anti-God, God will deal with it one day. It shouldn't make me feel self-righteous that there are people around me that are going to hell. It shouldn't do that. It should make me compassionate. It should make me say, I don't want you to be destroyed in the same way that Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. I don't want you to be like the angels who are being kept in eternal chains and darkness. I want you to be like Jesus, who was always free. Who never had to worry about the judgment of God because he loved his God. Another thing he does, he says that in the very same way, on the strength of their dreams, these ungodly people pollute their bodies and reject authority and talk about celestial beings. That's interesting because you think, what dreams got to do with this? I have dreams all the time. But if you remember in the Old Testament, dreams were oftentimes prophetic. You have Joseph who had dreams. You have Abraham who had dreams. And so what these people are doing is that they're using their dreams or their prophetic visions as reason for why they should be believed over the scriptures. We see that a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
People will say, I heard God tell me this. I had a dream about this. And it's just like, if that prophetic word don't match up with the word, I can't believe it.
Right.
I can't listen to it.
Yeah.
So in the body of the letter, those are some of the examples that Jude is using to give us some type of fruit to be able to compare to the people in our midst. So if we are surrounded by people who don't like authority, if we are surrounded by people who are teaching that God is love, therefore you have the right to do whatever you want to do. If we are surrounded by people like Balaam, who he also references, Balaam was willing to teach wrong things because he wanted money. It may not be money, but it might be followers. It might be status. It might be friendships. You know, it might be channels. I don't know. If we are surrounded by people who do these kinds of things, then those are the people that we need to be concerned about.